Okay, it says I'm live. I'm a bit early, I think, and we'll see how this goes. So there's no one else here. Talking to myself, nothing new there. I wanted to say, because this will get uploaded ultimately on my channel, so other people can watch it at a later date. There's a lady called Imogen who left a comment on my video about, is private school a privilege? Hello, Night Owl too. Hello. And Imogen, I won't say her full name because she might not like it, but Imogen went to Brighton and Hove High School. My mother went to Brighton and Hove High School. Hi, Danielle. And both my sisters went to Brighton and Hove High School. I was put in for it, but they didn't have any places, so I ended up going to Kingscliff. Now, Imogen told me that, St Mary's Hall didn't have the best reputation, apparently, and I didn't know that. So, again, for me, telling all you guys about my life is a journey. I don't know about you guys, but it really is a journey. I'm just going to try and move this window a bit, and hopefully I don't close it. Because you guys answer questions for me. Like, until yesterday, I thought all private schools were horrible, because mine was. But I've since heard positive experiences, and I mean, I can't believe I didn't realise it before, that there's schools and then there's schools, isn't there? Some schools are good and some schools are bad. But I'd always been led to believe that everyone believes that because it's a private school, it's good. Well, it isn't necessarily, is it? Well, obviously not in my case. In fact, my first private school was a bit weird, but nowhere near as bad as the second one. Right. And so that was the first thing I wanted to say, that some people have had exactly the same sort of experience as me at private school. And some people have had very positive experiences. What really got my goat about that little git that left a comment, he called me white privileged. I thought, what the hell a difference does it make what colour somebody's skin is if they're being ripped off by the bank? Anyway, and the other thing is channels being taken down. Now, months ago, when Wally's channel was taken down, I didn't think there was any legal remedy. And I was thinking about that overnight. And again, since my last video where I was talking about when I used to study law, I can't believe it never occurred to me before that, of course, there's a legal remedy. If a channel is monetized, there is a contract between the YouTube channel and YouTube itself, or Google. There is a contract. And it's not good enough to just be thrown off a platform, any platform, whether it's, I don't like Twitter, but some people do, and that they get really, really offended if their channel's taken down. So I believe that if it's monetized in any way, you could sue them if they don't give you a reason, because when they take you down, they're saying you have breached the contract. Well, they've got to tell you in what way. So I believe there are legal remedies for it. And actually, even if you're not monetized, I hear there's Megan's mole lost her Twitter. As an example, I don't know if Twitter can be monetized or if that particular channel was monetized. But even if it isn't monetized, a person has invested their time and their energy into building that channel on whatever platform. How can any platform just take you down without, hi Drop Bear, hi Danielle, yes, the public are being silenced, and it doesn't matter. I mean, I'd actually say, even if it was someone who was a fanatical sugar, if they were just suddenly chopped and silenced, I know a lot of you will think, you what? But you can't just silence people, because the way society progresses and improves is by talking to everybody. Hello, Dithian Ringo. Hello. So I really do believe that, I mean, are there any actual lawyers out there? Because I've never been a lawyer. I've studied law, and I'm a bit out of touch because it was years ago and the law changes and evolves. But contract law, I've got to say, was my least favourite subject. And because it was my least favourite, I had to work extra hard at it. There was a particular case law I had to learn called Stahl Warren Handel's Gesellschaft, which is all one word. And yeah, there's like 26, 28 letters in that. Hello. I am Fraud Corruption UK. I don't know if that's an actual channel or not. Hi, Kathy. Sunny Yorkshire. How's the weather in Yorkshire today? Hi, Nightowl again. And Droppy. I think that's meant to be Droppy. So, yes, I think that these platforms, they do have an obligation. It's not good enough to just say, we're taking you down because you've done something in our terms and conditions. That is not good enough. They have to give a reason. So I was having a look this morning at YouTube's terms and conditions. And if you're in the EU or Europe, it's governed by Google in the Republic of Ireland. I don't know if the UK is still covered by that because the UK left the European Union. So I don't know, because we're still sort of in transition over things like that. But according to their terms and conditions, if they completely terminate someone's channel, as was the case with Wally, there were, I think, 3 major reasons, and 2 of them were like basically nothing, like, are you hurting the community? That was a reason. But one of the reasons was they wouldn't tell you why they had deleted your channel if they had received a court order from someone demanding that the channel go down and that you not be told why. Now, I think that's the case with Wally. I think a court order was sent to Google, YouTube, by somebody who said, take this channel down, and also they put some sort of silencing order on it so that she doesn't have the right to know. Well, I think she does have the right to know. I really do. A backhand, I'm Fraud and Corruption backhanders in YouTube. I think it's a court order. I really do. Oh, please don't shut the door, Graham. It gets so hot in here.
So do you want it on?
Yes, please. He's experimenting. He's got a new virtual reality headset, which cost a lot of money, in my opinion, and he's playing with it now. Anyway.
It enables me to do all the things I can't afford to do in real life.
You can have virtual sex on that as well.
Hey.
Yeah. Better be that good. So, yeah, I mean, there's... Hi. That's Dithy and Ringo. Yeah, he'll come and go. So does anyone have any questions? As I say, I'm not a legal expert. Danielle, I'm guessing M is fighting so hard against Wally for questioning the 2 children in the line of succession. Yes. It's just not good enough. Can you imagine being sent to prison and the courts say, we're not telling you what law you broke and we're not letting you out of prison, it's a life sentence? Can you imagine? Hi, Karma. Hello. That's just outrageous. They cannot do that. Well, I say they cannot do that. They'd probably take my channel down. I think it's very interesting that 2 of us have had Wally on our channels and we have not been taken down. So her voice is not so dangerous and offensive. But if there are any lawyers out there that know about contract law, yes, Drop Bear, you could be right. It could be to do with Sam Markle's court case. Perhaps there was a court order put in, for example, just hypothetically by Meghan, jurisprudence that it might affect the outcome of a court case. Perhaps it was something like that. But then they should at least tell the YouTube channel, this is the reason there's been, and surely the YouTuber is entitled to see, are you aware of Boozy's bot farms and do you think he's done the same with YouTube like Twitter? I don't know how Twitter works with people's accounts being taken down. I was talking to Sue Smith the other day and Murky still hasn't had her Twitter reinstated. Whatever I think of Twitter, I feel it is a person's right because a platform's inviting you to come and build trust with them. And that is a complete breach of trust to just suddenly snip with no explanation. It's unacceptable. And nobody should accept that. I did watch the Meghan's Mole video. I think she did a live the other day explaining, she has no idea why. Murky has no idea why. And it could be any one of us next. It really could, because if people don't understand what they've done wrong, how can we learn to do better or educate ourselves, which is the favourite. Hi Maggie, hurry up Elon Musk. Well, yeah, I think Elon's playing a different game. I don't think he's actually going to buy Twitter. I think he's probably going to launch his own platform. I think he's shaking them about because they will ultimately become his competition. And I think I read somewhere Elon has more followers than the official Twitter account. Karma Collective. Why the palace hasn't exposed Meghan for the bullying is odd. Yes, I think so. I did see that a lot of people feel it shouldn't be made public for the protection of the victims. But I personally don't. I think that if they've gone that far, they have a right to have their voices heard. I do understand, yes, they would become targets of the sugar. But in a way, it actually looks worse for Meghan. If it was me and I was accused of something and then they said, well, we've finished having a hearing and that's it, no one's going to know, and I genuinely hadn't done it. Graham, calm down with that virtual reality, please. Oh, don't let him fall over.
I found him a game he absolutely loves.
He's nearly tripped over the coffee table a few times.
Can I just pause it? Just look out the door real quick.
1 moment. Oh my God, what's he doing? Graham, be careful. Oh, if only I had a camera to show you guys what's going on.
I'm going to film it. I'll be back.
He'll do himself a mischief and then we're never at the end of it. So where was I? My bloody family. Yes, the bullying. Then really it hasn't cleared Meghan's name, shall we put it that way? And there's no conclusion to it. And I know they always said it would be a private thing, but I think when Tom Bower's book comes out, by all accounts, from what he's saying, I think the situation may get even worse for Meghan, really. So we'll see. Yeah, Drop Bear, unless it's their choice at privacy. Yes, absolutely. You're totally right, Drop Bear. If the victims themselves said they don't want to be named, then they should be protected 100%. But the actual outcome of the bullying, of the essence of it, yes, I think that should come out one way or another. Or maybe they're worried that if they expose anything that's happened with Meghan, maybe other members of the family would be accused or have been accused, you know. Andrew, there was something about his teddy bears or something, wasn't there? You need to sell your karma. You need to sell your stories to a program company. Yeah, well, I've had lots of them approach in the past. And when we did the Too Posh to Pay, they cannot pay me apparently because I'm a criminal and it promotes crime. Personally, I think people should talk more openly about crime, why it's happened, why people commit offences, how people end up in those circumstances. But Graham was paid. He was paid £2,000 by ITV he provided video footage from our time on the run. And that's actually went towards buying our boat in Gibraltar. Yes, it is wrong, Karma. It is wrong. There are so many. I understand what they don't want is people bigging up crime and encouraging people to break the law. But at the same time, it is a reality. And also a lot of victims of crime end up with unanswered questions. You know, why me? Why did it happen? And then so there's always this constant mystique of just around the subject of crime. Right, let me read some of these comments. Yes, I think yes, Dithy, and I think Elon will go his own way, definitely. Maggie P, I heard the palace is using it as leverage in case Has wants to put anything. Yes, maybe that could be. You know, it's a sword of Damocles hanging. But I'm not sure that Meghan or Harry ever take warnings. I don't think they see the warnings or they think it's bluff. I mean, before the Oprah interview, I think everyone can remember their PR people sort of said Prince Philip isn't that ill. They're just saying that to shut the Oprah interview up. And then, oh, whoopsie, the poor guy died. So I don't think they see warnings. I think if they saw warnings, they'd have expected the booze. They'd have known about the booze. Just goes to show how they're surrounded by yes men who just don't tell them. Danielle, yeah, how do you feel about Harry going to the Ukraine? Yeah, do it, Harry. Take Meghan. Only joking. I haven't actually read that story. I haven't seen that one yet. I've seen a few people have mentioned it, and Trevor Colt was talking about it, I think. But I haven't seen. Did he actually say that he's going to go to the Ukraine? Oh my goodness! Wouldn't it be funny if they did go to the Ukraine? And I'm not joking about war zones. You know, that's very distasteful of me. But can you imagine if they just stopped the gunfighting and everybody booed? Right, let's trauma pimp drop bear. Yeah, absolutely. Dawn B. Yeah, I was going to ask. Yeah, M&H go full steam ahead, Maggie. They do. They do. They just it's like she doesn't have any inbuilt warning system or like good and bad feelings. Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? She just doesn't seem to. Dithian, I saw an article that a Ukraine paramedic was filming her days in action using a body cam for Harry. Really? Really? I wouldn't be. Well, nothing surprises me these days. Nothing at all. Be nice if they went to go and land on the moon or Mars or something. They could be in Jeff Bezos's rocket, couldn't they? Just at a window in a space shuttle, never to return. So where was I? Yeah, Meghan and Harry. I mean, the thing I've seen on that short video I did, it's at about 52,000 hits now, is a lot of the people on there, they're not exactly what I think any of us would class as sugars. They're well-meaning people who don't really follow the story very closely, and they just see nice young couple, leave them alone. And it's just so frustrating, especially when I'm on my phone on the boat and I'm typing with two thumbs, and people can't even be bothered to go and look at the person's channel to see where they're coming from. I find that quite frustrating. So do any of you guys fear having your channels taken down, and why? You know, because I mean, I don't think I've ever really been bothered if I lost the YouTube channel, if it was shut down. I don't think I would care. But then I haven't been running this channel in that manner for 4 years like Wally was, or even longer in the case of some people who've invested an awful lot of time. Duchess of Sussex is nuts. Yes, she is, Karma. They're becoming ambulance chasers, Giselle. Yes, it's weird, isn't it? Well, I think a lot of celebrities, they look for the latest bandwagon, don't they? And they jump on it, whether they're really into it or not. It's very strange. Dithian, I don't have one, but I can see different. Yeah, well, I mean, even if you don't have videos up on your channel, it's still a channel. It's still yours. Hi, Kathy. I saw about the paramedic too. Apparently she got caught by Russians and was released. Also, something about footage hidden in a tampon. Oh, dear. Hi, Petra. Yeah, at least said about tampons, the better. I still haven't finished Tina Brown's book, I've got to say. All this nonsense about Meghan might sue Tina. What for? Too much butt kissing? I'm sorry to Tina. I mean, it's a wonderful thing to write a book and get it published, but there was a lot of talk. There is a huge section on tampons in Tina's book, an enormous section of blow-by-blow graphic detail, all sorts of things about Prince Charles and Camilla. And then when it comes to Meghan, she just misunderstood, you know. But I haven't actually finished the book, so I'll reserve judgment. Yes, Maggie P, she is quite nuts. She is. I hope it was a biodegradable tampon, Chris Caspian. Oh dear. Yes. Oh, that was quite shocking, wasn't it? The recordings of all that. Poor guys. Can you imagine how embarrassing? Oh, we had a fella in Gibraltar. It went viral. He was doing quite a lewd thing in one of the offices in Ocean Village, and floor to ceiling glass windows. I think it was just before Christmas, and some scousers outside videoed the whole thing, put it on our local Speak Freely on Facebook. Woof, like a touch pay. Poor guy had to leave Gibraltar. I felt terrible for him, actually. But why do something like that behind your desk in an office with a floor to ceiling window, the whole street looking in? Oh well. So yes, being deplatformed. there must be some lawyers out there who could contract. It's contract law, and how do YouTube terms and conditions work in the UK? Because I'm in Spain, all I get shown is EU terms and conditions. Because if you go to the terms and conditions in the UK, it should say the Office of Google, which I presume would probably be the Republic of Ireland still, but there could be for England and Wales law. Anybody out there from the UK can find the terms and conditions of YouTube, and so we know what law it's governed by. Because breach of contract, I'm certain that that's a road to go down. Giselle, yeah, I saw her interviewed. I wish I'd seen her interviewed before I bought the book. I'm definitely going to buy Tom Bowers. I've never read any of Tom's work before, but I believe he's quite harsh. Well, we'll see. And it depends how much it's going to be. But there's not even a title at the moment, is there, for Tom's book? Or does anybody know if he's actually put a title up there yet? Who is a lawyer? Night Owl. He is a lawyer. Because Me Too, very curious to see what Bauer has to say. Yes, Me Too, because he gave an interview, didn't he, a week or two back, and he said that Meghan has trodden on a lot of people to get where she is today. And he said that despite the fact that the lawyers have been trying to silence it, that he's gotten past all that, and they will have their voice and they will be able to say. And there's even talk that her first husband might have talked to Bauer. Giselle, she seemed to be sneering Avid. I don't like sneerers. No, I don't. I mean, she must have teams of lawyers. She must spend her entire life on lawyers. No Father's Day photos for H. No. And poor little Archie didn't get much of a shout on his birthday, did he? But boy, the Lilibet, it was all about Lilibet, wasn't it? Chris Caspian. I want to see what Tom Bauer writes about the hazing incident. I've heard about the hazing incident. Whether that is true or not, I don't know. I think Padina pressed Thomas on that subject, and Thomas sort of sidestepped it by saying, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about her college days. That seemed pretty odd, because surely he would have known about it. Hello, Kathy Underwood. Hi, Maggie P. So I don't know with the hazing incident. I mean, I suppose if you're famous, people might make stuff up. If it's true, that is really shocking, really shocking. Archie is in the cupboard under the stairs with the Dyson. Yes, Karma. Yes. It's peculiar. I remember Michael Jackson putting those weird black veils over his children. But Michael was really drugged up on all sorts of wake me up, put me down, wake me up medication, wasn't he? So I don't think he was thinking straight. So what's their excuse? How could Harry make all this mystery around his children when he himself has had gossip about his own parentage and, James Hewitt and all that? How could he open his children up to the possibility of that? Surely you would think he would want to be more transparent than ever. To me, it's inexplicable, really inexplicable. And I know with my two kids, if they saw I made a big fuss at one birthday but not the other, I'd never hear the end of it. It was a constant, they were always bickering with each other. You got more than I got, you got more than I got. So Graham and I went out of our way to make sure they both got the same, even though one's a boy and one's a girl. So here's a dim bulb. Yes, Harry is not very bright, is he? Not at all. Makes you wonder what values they'll teach their kids, Giselle. Well, yes. I mean, I dread to think, actually, when they're older. I really do. Most likely fast cars, drugs, scandals. And, of course, because they're famous, if they put a foot wrong anyway, the press will be on them. I think Catherine and William have done very, very well with their children. They all seem totally normal, happy and healthy. I know people were going on about Prince Louis' behaviour. I thought he was absolutely bloody adorable and totally normal. That's exactly what my Benji was like. And I thought it was super cute the way he ran and jumped on Prince Charles's lap. Because Charles comes across as a little distant and reserved, and not at all. Louis really brought him into the mix there. So I thought that was lovely, and I thought it was really rather horrible of Meghan fans to attack Louis. I thought that was nasty. Well, some Meghan fans, not all Meghan fans. Yes, Cambridge kids do. They come across as it's worrying. He always tries it. Prince Louis stole the show. Yeah, he did. He did. I've had those moments with my kids where I've just thought, please behave yourself. No chance. No chance. Hi, Dawn. Night out. 3 kids. She didn't have the first 2 yet. Well, I'm still laughing. Harry said the royals treated him as a commoner. Yeah. I'm not. I think Harry has not lived in reality, actually. I don't know what's up with Harry. I think he got over all his troubles. He seemed to when he was in the army. And I thought the Las Vegas thing where he was on the front page naked, I thought that was kind of adorable and funny. And I thought, good, young man having a laugh. And everything seemed good. And he seemed to get on so well with William and Catherine. And then Meghan came along and it all changed. It all just, then he was, and when he was interviewed by Oprah, didn't he say, I didn't know I was trapped until Meghan told me I was trapped? Didn't he say something like that? This is a total open book, Harry, really. He's a blank page. So, you know, to come out with something like that, I didn't know I was trapped until Meghan told me I was trapped. And what's with the light and sound baths? Does anybody else remember that? That there was some, I don't know if it's PR or just ordinary journalists and press. It was when they were still in the royal family, and they said Prince Harry likes to have light and sound baths. And I thought, well, what the hell's a light and sound bath? That to me sounds like brainwashing, doesn't it? Like he's put in a dark room and he can hear like a sort of Dalai Lama type ding, ding, ding with all lights and a voice going, Meghan says you're trapped. Meghan says this, you know? Yeah, Giselle, who is trapped now? Yeah, hi, Anne Cunningham. Hello. He's a blank something. I know that. Yeah, he's got a valuable brain. It's totally unused. No ridges on it at all. It's smooth, isn't it? It's. I found it quite amusing that the people who, I think it was Rebecca English, Daily Mail, had been authorised to speak to some of Prince William's friends, and they had said that he does watch the Windsors. Anyone else out there who's watched the Windsors, it's hilarious. It's a real caricature of the royal family, and they do depict Harry as not very bright. It's definitely worth a watch. Maggie P. Yes, Meghan does manipulate him, definitely. The Sussexes now, the Ridges. Harry can afford 14 bathrooms, but not a wig. Well, he's aging, isn't he? He's really, when someone's very, very unhappy, it's amazing how it starts to manifest itself on the outside. And her too. She's beginning, I mean, I thought she was really, really pretty, but she's beginning to look a little odd in some ways. The photograph of her at the polo the other day in her shorts that were like sort of lampshade shape, and the way she was, hello, not today, good evening. Oh, I'm so glad that you were awake. I'm really sorry about not sort of saying exactly what time this would be. I didn't even know how to do it because I normally have the wonderful Duchess Drop Bear who does the StreamYard. Yes, he's losing his hair. He looks very, very pale and very grey to me. I think where they live is pretty much on the same latitude as us. And as you can see, we're out in the sun. It's hot, hot, hot. But Harry looks very grey, like he never goes out in the sun, really. I know he's a ginger, so obviously they're fair-skinned. But even people with ginger hair, if you live in a very, very warm climate, they do get a colour. We've got a lad on the Dolphin Safari boat. He's not a ginger, he's blonde with freckles, but he tans. Chris Caspian is losing his hair, and she won't like that, as she's hard like my auntie Pauline. If a female said her male told her she was trapped, the whole world would have screamed abuse. Yes, Drop Bear, yes. I mean, when men are abused, and trust me, my Graham gets plenty of it, they don't get any sympathy. But yeah, I could actually see when she was at that photograph of her drinking lemonade, watching him at the polo, what I felt she was thinking was, how quickly can I get rid of you? There was something about it, the photograph, that just said to me, her mind is already thinking, how do I get out of this? I don't know. Obviously, that's only my speculation from a photograph, but it's that's all they seem to do now, isn't it? Go to the polo. Well, I'm glad they've got their lives at the polo. That's a good thing. It's better than them coming over and doing all this. And I hear Harry is thinking of dropping his title, the Duke of Sussex. Do you guys think he really will? I think that's what she wants, because then she'll say, well, I'll just call myself Princess Meghan of Wales. Oh, let's just cut it short. I'm the Princess of Wales. That's what I think. Not good for horses. Let's not stay. I'm so happy I've caught you. I love reminiscing over your boat stories in my time. Yes, not today. Was it your mum who threw the black mamba off the boat? I can't remember who it was who said that, but somebody's mum had found a black mamba on their boat and just totally deadly snake. Henry Dumbs, Seuss Windsor, hello. She was making eyes at Nacho. Not sure if he's such a friend of Henry. Right, Nacho. Now, because I live in Spain, I'm quite familiar with male, macho, machismo type characters. Now, they're not all Spanish men are like this, but I look at Nacho and I think he's what you'd call a real man's man, and he would not approve of a man taking orders from his wife. That, I believe, is the type of character Nacho is. So I bet Meghan doesn't like Nacho one bit. I think she'd like him to stay away from Harry, personally. Em will never be a princess. No, she won't. Not today. No, it wasn't you. It was someone will come forward and say I was the Black Mamba. Hello, Caro Gar. Hello, lovely to see you too. Yes, Nacho won't approve at all. He's the sort of guy who thinks women sort of belong in the kitchen. That's my impression of him. I've seen him interviewed once or twice, and that's the last sort of person Meghan wants around. But they seem to have they're building this very weird Lilliputian kingdom for themselves based around polo. It's strange, isn't it? And Sue Smith did a video of them getting the trophy of some sort of polo match that apparently they hadn't actually won. And when they panned back on the photograph, it was a trailer towed by a tractor in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, with a sponsorship board behind, and it was literally just a photo shoot. How weird is that? Really? How weird is that? Henry Dumsus Windsor agreed, Abbott. They are angling for the uneducated USA audience, or inexperienced, people inexperienced in life, to think Rachel is a Princess of Wales. Even put in lawsuit that Henry, Prince of Wales. Chris Caspian, the alpha male of Nacho, will be waiting to get Haz off the rails. Yes, I can. Well, hi Danielle, for Netflix content. Yes, but the thing is, by the time the Netflix thing comes out, no matter how they make it look, everybody's already seen how it happened at the time. Do you see what I mean? It's not like The Crown. Don't know if you guys like The Crown. I love The Crown. It's the only thing I watch on Netflix, pretty much. I think most Netflix stuff is garbage. It's all arty-farty, wokey-cokey. I don't even know what they're talking about half the time. I really don't. And I saw there was a programme with Anne Boleyn depicted as a black lady. Well, Anne Boleyn was not a black lady, so I don't understand that. I didn't watch it. I think that's as bad as having Nelson Mandela depicted as an albino, or Gandhi as a Norwegian or something like that. What's the matter with them? History is what happened. It's not, you don't change it and try and make it something better. That's the way it happened. That's the way it went down. Maybe it's just me, but I find a lot of that stuff weird. But The Crown, I love The Crown. but none of us know which stories they're going to cover, exactly how it's going to go down. Whereas with Harry and Meghan, we all know the order it happened in. We all know who was at St Paul's. We all know there were boos at St Paul's. So if they falsify all that and have cheers instead, everybody's going to go, that's a bit weird. Yeah, Maggie P, I love The Crown. I do. And I know it's drama. No one's ever going to know what real conversation is. But the reason I love The Crown is because it's somebody else's imagination of how they think it went down. And it's food for thought. But yeah, people who take it literally, well, they must be a bit daft, mustn't they? Yeah, Henry Dumsus Windsor. Yes, the actress who played Anne Boleyn was very vocal in favour of Henry and Rachel and critical of the Cambridges. Oh, that's interesting. Right. I don't understand the point of deliberately changing people's nationalities or their culture and doing a new depiction. I mean, are they going to do something on Winston Churchill and say that he was Afro-Caribbean at some point in the future with loads of hair when Winston was clearly white and totally bald? Not today. Boos about how the public misunderstand Harry and then pull the card is 100. Yeah. Yes, they could. Not today. They could say, oh, well, we're all racist. I think we've all been labelled as racist anyway. I was never labelled as racist before that woman came along to the royal family. Never. And that cheeky little git that made the comment on my 13-year-old video, that they made that comment 2 years ago. So that was 2020. That was like Meghanism era. And I'm white privileged because I got ripped off by a bank. I was earning about 150 quid a week then as a cleaning lady, and Graham was doing the tow truck. I think he was on the bins actually then. And we were living on a boat in Brighton Marina because we didn't have much money. But I'm white privileged. What the hell's that got to do with bank charges? So that's a mechanism. I never seen this sort of racism come to the fore like it has done before she came along. Didn't they have an Afro-Caribbean person play Hamilton? I'm not sure who Hamilton is, such is my ignorance. Karma, the actress, was a token, right? Dithian. The Crown, unfortunately, has made the monarchy appear like the Kardashians. Well, it certainly made Harry and Meghan appear like that. Not so much the rest. I would prefer William and Catherine didn't say, just call us William and Catherine. They are the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. He is Prince William of Wales. She is Princess William of Wales. They will one day be the Prince and Princess of Wales and ultimately King and Queen. I don't really want to hear, just call us Catherine and William. Leave all that to Meghan and Harry, because Meghan and Harry are really just Meghan and Harry now, aren't they? Danielle, it will be like putting petroleum on a fire if H goes to the Ukraine. Russia is, well, if Harry goes to the Ukraine, Putin will grab him, won't he, and make an example. He'll make it his business. There'll be a price on Harry's head. And also, it's the same situation as when Harry was in the army. I think they surrounded him by Gurkhas and they had to work just to keep him alive and protected. Chris Caspian, can't people see even people of colour can be bloody nasty? Yes. I mean, just because it's silly to say all black people are lovely and white people are evil, as bad as it is to say all black people are evil and all white people are good. It's ridiculous. As a very wise old gypsy said to me once, there's good and bad in all of us, which is so true. Evelyn, hello Evelyn from Sicily. Right. Let's read some of these. Hamilton is a musical based on a US president, not Obama. Right. I saw there was some other musical as well, wasn't there, where there were two women of colour playing the lead roles and they were supposed to be two duchesses, sort of depicting Catherine and... hello, Hannah. Hannah Booth. Hello. Carmen Miranda. Hello. And Beck's stuff. Netflix is having problems. Yes, if you look at their chart, it's around $178. The 52-week high was around 700. Stockholders not happy. No, I know. If you look at their chart, it goes all the way up and it just drops off a cliff, doesn't it? I hope they don't go out of business before they've finished The Crown, though, because I pay for blooming Netflix. My daughter watches, she likes Lucifer. And my kids like, I can't remember the name of the show. There's some teenage shows, you know. So I pay for it. I think it's bloody expensive. It's more than a TV license in the UK. And like I say, I don't watch. I can be hours on it, and I can't find anything worth watching except The Crown. You know, that's it. I've seen all the other things. Just catching up on some of these comments. Is it because of the Harkles or the rise in prices? You can't share. What do you mean you can't share? Oh, what, share the channel? Like give your login details to somebody else? Is that what you mean, Karma? I personally think Netflix is having a bad time. I think a large proportion of the blame is Harry and Meghan. I really do. I think they have a very narrow fan base. And the more, see, Princess Diana was actually very clever. She never narrowed her fan base. She reached out to everybody, and particularly the elderly. When she went to hospitals, she knew how to make a fuss, like she's chatting to her gran or her granddad. And so it made her so accessible. Whereas Meghan, straight away, well, you've got to be female. I'm not interested in supporting causes that have anything to do with boys. It's got to be female, of colour, only the Commonwealth, certain areas of the Commonwealth, and then she's alienating various other sectors of society. So she has narrowed, from the point of view of Netflix or Spotify, she is such a narrow invitation. What you want is someone who has very broad appeal, like Diana. I mean, Diana would have gone woof, wouldn't it? Everybody would have wanted to watch that. Night Owl. Don't worry, the production company of The Crown can take it to their streaming platform. Yeah, hope so. But then I've got to pay for that streaming. What, you mean like Amazon or HBO or something? Imagine if you pay for all these streaming platforms, it'd cost a bloody fortune, wouldn't it? Hi, Jackie Jabor. And Evelyn says H&M's fan base is woke. And I believe that wokery is phasing out, or at least becoming. Yeah, these woke people, they're like really, really extreme liberals, aren't they? And it's pissing a lot of liberals off. Jackie Jabor cancelled Netflix ages ago, downloaded Streamio, and get it all for. Yeah, I've got a friend who does that, Streamio. What's the weather like up your end of the coast? Oh, you up near Catalonia? It's all right. It's a lot cooler now. We had a heat wave a few days ago. It's much, much cooler, and I think it might even rain today. What's it like up in Catalonia? Henry, she caused offence in Africa. Yes, there's a lot. I see Bookworm, and I see a lot of people from South Africa not happy with her at all, making poor young mums get to the floor when clearly they didn't. I remember that. That was really weird and uncomfortable, wasn't it? She was trying to do a Diana, and they had chairs around, and she just sat on the floor, and they were all like, oh, right, well, we're in our best togs. Really? We have to sit on the floor? That was really unnatural. And do I have an email address you can all contact me on? Not at the moment, no. I will get one. The thing with email is, because I'm on the boat most of the time on my phone with terrible Wi-Fi, to check a load of emails as well would be very difficult. But I will try. Obviously, I've got one for Gmail for the YouTube, but I don't really want to put that up because imagine if my channel went down. They take your Gmail off you. So then that would be no good. So I'll try and set up a free one. I won't put my traditional one, the personal one, because sugars and things like that, I think once they've got your email, I think they can do damage, or at the very least, they can do attempted logins and you get locked out of your own email. But I will source an email. Carmen Miranda, how do you make handbags from cornflake boxes? Well, my mother used to make. I'll get my handbag a minute and I'll sort of explain it a bit. I've got to say I don't make my own handbags and I don't make my own clothes. My mother had so much patience, but like that's my handbag. She'd make a bag like that and the whole body of it would be a cornflake box, and then she'd cover it in black plastic, like patent leather, and use a couple of chains. And she made all her own clothes out of next to nothing. She never spent any money on clothes, and she made hats as well. And everybody thought she was loaded. That bag, I got that off Amazon for €20. I was quite pleased with it, because handbags, they're either too small, too big. Good grief. Hi, Evelyn. Are you on your boat or in your home? I'm in the house. I'm in the house at the moment. It'd be impossible to do this on the boat. Wi-Fi, absolutely impossible. Jackie Jabor, Calahonda. Ah, right. Yeah, we used to live in La Cala, actually, and we had a friend who lived in Calahonda. It's wonderful there. Absolutely wonderful. Have you got a swimming pool? I'm a swimming pool fanatic. I'd love to have a swimming pool, but I've never had a garden big enough. Henry, yes, a special craft video. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not doing a Blue Peter. No. My mother drove me mad, actually, making clothes, because she'd made clothes for us as well. But it was never what I wanted, really. I just wanted to go to the shop and buy something when I was a teenager. I didn't have the patience. Let's have a look. Absolutely never paid for Netflix. Yeah. Abid, where have you boated to long distance? Oh, I haven't. We had a boat in Brighton Marina, and we used to take it out just outside the marina and then back. And the idea was we were going to sail it down to Gibraltar, but it's a bloody long journey and quite treacherous to cross the channel. We're going to do the French canals. So in the end, we bought the other boat in Gibraltar. It was an easier way, and sold the one in Brighton. It's easier than sailing it. No, and the dolphin trip, Graham's done about, I don't know, how many sea miles have you done, Graham? 100,000. So it's 25,000 around the world. So he's been around the world 4 times, but he's never been anywhere. They're just dolphin trips locally. Night Owl, Megan Mull shared an article from the Mirror on YouTube yesterday that she called one of the bereaved family of Uvalde, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, the boy, tick all the boxes of M checklist. Check out Megan Mull's community post. Yes, I'll have a look at that. I was sort of listening to her live when I was at work the other day, but people come in and out of the office all the time. Yes, it's very odd turning up at things like that. Surely it's for the President of the United States to turn up and give his condolences. And a reason often the President or the Queen stay away from a disaster zone is if the police have already got enough on their plate, and the last thing they need to do is that our Amazon, Graham. Well, can someone go to the door? I don't think Amazon can see the doorbell that says doorbell. Don't even ask. We're waiting for a blow-up replacement jacuzzi to arrive. Jackie Jabor, what's the best day not so busy for a dolphin trip in July? No such thing. It's really busy in July. It's really, really busy. I'll have to go and get the door because he's got his virtual reality on. Is there anyone at the door? Yeah, July's really, really busy. I mean, you can book in advance. July and August is all the tourists, although this year's been a bit weird because since the COVID, it's the rhythm of the seasons has changed. The best time of year down here to see the dolphins is September. We call it super pod season, and the bay is literally alive with them. It's amazing, September, and not so many tourists, and a bit cooler as well. Karma. Oh, it's a pity. That's right. Megan is not representative of the people. No, she isn't. It's a Karma. Same issues having doorbell pressing with Amazon. I know. There's a big thing there that says doorbell. Yes, Megan doesn't represent anybody. She's not elected. She's openly and publicly said she's left the royal family. She doesn't like the institution. It's racist. So what is she doing? I mean, I don't think even Angelina Jolie does that sort of thing where she just turns up with a Netflix crew. I gotta go. Oh, well, where are you going, Drop Bear? Oh, is it late? I suppose it is in Australia. Hi, Tracy from Wales. Droppy, don't go. Danielle, when H&M went to Harlem School, one of the parents put up a YouTube video telling her to off big time. Yeah, I saw that. So, yeah, Megan, she's a funny old sausage, isn't she? I've met lots of people like Megan I've met lots of unpleasant people, and she seems to be an amalgamation of all the different people. Yeah, take care, Droppy, if you're leaving. Hi, Gojo. Hi, Cargo Gar. Maybe she needs to go to bed a bit earlier. I know she's been feeling a bit under the weather, and she's had a bit of a cold. Actually, I could really hear it in her voice last week. I'm off for treatment. Oh, Droppy. Want to come? Yeah, I'll come with you. Oh, bless her. She's a toughie. She must be a toughie, because I hope she doesn't mind me saying this. She used to jump out of aeroplanes. So that, in my book, that makes her a complete nutter, like my husband. There's not a chance. If I was in a perfectly working aeroplane, the last thing I'd do is jump out of it. I don't mind boats, because if a boat sinks, I can do that. But if a plane goes down, no matter how much I do that, it's not going to work. So she's a bit of a Mrs. Bond, Droppy. She's a, what do they call it? A sly old dog. Keeps it all under her hat. Evelyn, most celebrities do things behind the scenes, not putting their faces in. Yes. I mean, Johnny Depp, didn't he used to turn up at kids' hospitals dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow, and they'd all be like just in awe, and it was all impromptu, and then people would get it on their phones. Yes. Whereas Meghan's got security, keep the peasants away. I need my camera line, or as Lady C says, she likens her to what was that famous film called, where the aging actress said, "I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVille." I can't remember the film, but Lady C does a very, very... I can drop there, I can still hear you. My plane goes down. You have a parachute, silly. Might have been 10 years ago, Droppy, but my hat off to you. Not a chance could I ever. I'd have to be tranquilised with like an elephant tranquilizer.
We couldn't get.
And then they'd have to tell me about it afterwards.
We couldn't get you to stand on the glass at Tower Bridge.
No, we went to Tower Bridge and they have a glass floor with all the traffic going underneath. I couldn't.
She fucking
I was
held
stuck.
the wall.
Yeah. Because Meghan is so classy. Yeah, not. Right. Okay, Jackie, you're off to have lunch. We will see you later. Sunset Boulevard. That's right, Maggie, Carmen. Yes, Sunset Boulevard. That's sort of how Meghan behaves. I think Lady C's absolutely spot on with that. It's bizarre, isn't it? Well, it'll be interesting to see how the story turns out, how it ends. I think with Harry, he's quite fiery and emotional, and he doesn't understand a lot of the emotions he's experiencing. Hi, Tracy Wilkins. Well, I'm one happy peasant. Yes, I'm happy. Hi, Marcia. I'm happy not to be anywhere near her. That'd be awful. In fact, I knew someone who was a little bit like her, and I actually went and hid. I couldn't go home to my flat because this girl knew where my flat was. I couldn't go round to my mum's because she knew where that was. So I went and hid in Graham's camper van. I was there all day long waiting for her to go away. Oh, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. Tyrrell. Yes, Meghan is her own worst enemy, Evelyn. She is, and she just can't see it. She just cannot see it. And with the royal family, because what we're looking at, they're not flash-in-the-pan celebrities. They're not celebrities. They are there a lifetime. People see them from the day they're born to the day they die. That's the long game. So when Meghan wants everything now, doesn't she? She wants it all to have happened. And she does these dreadful things. And then she thinks it should be forgotten. No. Marcia Toms, what's happened? I don't know. What's happened? I really got to go, Pete. Okay, see you later, Droppy. See you later. Karma, my ancestors were Scottish royal aristocrats. Really? Tell me more, Macbeth. I don't even know the story of Macbeth. I've never watched it. I was never into Shakespeare. But yes, tell us more. Royal Scottish aristocrats. Well, yeah, Lady C was married to into the Argyle family, wasn't she? They're very, very hoi polloi Scottish aristocrats. What's up?
Macbeth was supposed to be Inverness and then around that area.
I don't know. Do you know? I'll have to make the effort to look it up. It's just I can't understand Shakespeare. He talks all weird.
Well, there was nothing else to do, was there? Just hanging about in the castle with a knife at the end of the.
It's all your family's fault. Because
they must have been really bored, mustn't they? In a big Scottish castle, they just thought, I'll hang out at the end of the corridor and just stab people in the night. You know, they come creeping past. I mean, it must have been something to do.
Yeah, Lady Macbeth was very. Hi, Music Infinity. Hello. Since they're now seriously considering taking their titles away, I don't think it will be long before she divorces. Yeah. The thing is, if she divorces, but then she could remarry, and if she remarried, she'd definitely lose all the titles, wouldn't she? That's the thing. Edra Welsh, hello from Canada. Hello, Canada. Do you have advice for starting up a YouTube channel? This is my real name. Should I create a YouTube name? What are the benefits of revealing your own name? Well, it's always a risk, especially with sugars or with anybody. I suppose you can have fanatics anywhere to reveal who you really are. So I've been on the internet since '93, and my advice has always been to people to have a persona and hide your identity for your own personal security. But the reason I reveal who I am and my real name is, but I'm very, very easy to find anyway. Because of the Britain's Most Wanted, and anybody who looks my name up, they find us at the Dolphin Safari in Gibraltar very quickly. And also, I sort of talking about Wally and the YouTubers that were getting a lot of criticism. I felt it gave more credibility to what I'm saying. But I do understand why people prefer to have a stage name, and some people prefer not to even have not even their voice. Some YouTubers don't show who they are and don't have their voice, and I completely understand that as a form of protection. So I think it's probably better to, if you can, to keep your anonymity. That was one of the things I didn't approve of when Facebook was launched. I thought, what the hell is this? You have to give your real name. You have to use your real face. I thought, what is this, a tax return or a police statement or something? It always looked very odd to me, Facebook. Evelyn, has anything from the Harkles today since Prince William's 40th birthday? Ah, interesting. Yeah, they do love to launch stuff, don't they? They do love to. I haven't seen anything yet, but maybe they're not awake yet. They're on the West Coast, aren't they? And I don't know what the time difference. I always go by New York because of the bell. The NASDAQ bell going off is at 2:00 our time. Danielle, Sugar's released all of Sue Smith personal information. Paula Emma yeah. And I also saw they did a similar thing to Murky, to Taz, and of course to Wally. Yes. And then once they find out your real name, I think if you're going to expose your real name, you've really got to think about what's the worst thing that could come out of the closet about me, because the people on the internet will invariably find it and try and use it against you. Macbeth killed a king to become a king, pushed on by his wife. Right. Thank you, Henry. Thank you. I will try and watch sort of a shorter, easier, less intellectual version of Macbeth, I think. You probably got it by now, I'm not a very intellectual, and I'm certainly not an academic person. I don't do very well on academia. I really struggle to keep my attention span. Night Owl, yes, she will lose her title. Look at Fergie. Didn't she remarried and still using it? I'm not sure Fergie's remarried, but when they divorced, her and Diana lost the HRH and they became Sarah, Duchess of York, and Diana, Princess of Wales, which in my book is not bad at all, is there? Oh, mind either of them. But I'm certain if Harry could get Megan to be the empress of planet Earth, it wouldn't be good enough. She would soon be saying to him, I want to be the empress of the moon, Mars, the universe, and it would go on and on and on. There's a famous story called The Fisherman's Wife, where a fisherman catches an enchanted fish, and him and his wife live in a shack. And because he saves the fish's life, the fish says, I'll grant you a wish. And what would you like? And he said, oh, a really nice cottage. And he went back, and it wasn't long before his wife was pissed off. She said, go, you should have asked that fish for a mansion. So he went back and got a mansion. And she said, go back again. I don't like the mansion. Ask him for a castle. And then it was a palace. And then she wanted something else. And in the end, the fish said, you can go back and you'll find your wife in this shitty little shack you started with in the first place. That is Meghan Markle. She doesn't know when to stop. Just catching on this. The Fisherman's Story, yeah, is one of my favourites, actually. Music Infinity. Kids today don't even get taught UK history in schools anymore. No, it's all social history. Not only that, they have never really taught geography properly, in my opinion. It's all tectonic plates and volcanoes. So when I grew up, I didn't know the boundaries of countries, political reasons why. And I really think that they should cover that. I don't know if they do these days, but they didn't in my day. We did orientation and stuff like that. But we never did boundaries. And European geography is so complicated, and all the wars and stuff. And I'm very interested in that. And of course, that comes in with history as well. History and geography, very closely connected. But no, I don't know what's going on in schools today. In fact, Graham's son, his eldest son from a previous marriage, he got an A in geography, but couldn't tell us where Germany was. Didn't know which continent Germany was on. How's that? You know, how can that be? Fergie and the toe sucking. Well, Fergie's toe sucking karma does tend to pale into insignificance in comparison to other things that have come out. I mean, even Tampon Gate, I think, was a lot worse than the toe sucking thing. Hi, Linda Law. I thought you'd put, how long have you been alive? I was going to go, yeah, 51 years, 2 months. How long have I been alive? Good grief. Do you know, about an hour. I think it's about an hour. I've lost her comment now. Where's she gone? Linda Law, yeah. I didn't get a notification. No, I know. My subscribers have been going down, and I assume it's YouTube unsubscribing. I have no idea. I don't really pay too much attention, subscribers going up and down, but it happens to me. I have been unsubscribed by YouTube from my own husband. I mean, as if I wouldn't talk to my own husband on the stream. No. Yeah, an hour. You're okay. Long way to catch up with me. Okay. Interesting to know how old you are, everyone. Yes. How old is everybody? Let's see. Indigo2009.com in CA. Is that California? You're very easy to listen to. Oh, good. I'm so glad, because normally I talk. It's quite easy for me. I talk to myself all the time. My family don't listen to anything I say. They're not interested. And when I'm home alone in the house, I literally do. I talk to myself, or I talk to YouTubers. You know, when Lady C says something, like she can hear me, I go, absolutely, Lady C. I couldn't have said that better myself. And I'm there shouting at the telly. Or Wally, when I used to watch her, I'd think, oh, stop, don't say that. You naughty. You're going to get into trouble if you say that. Like, they can hear me. I don't know if anyone else does that. Oh, 47, Hannah, you're a baby. Henry, you're only 27. Oh, Danielle, 37. Karma, 39. I always had you down, Karma, as about between 19 and 21. Isn't it funny how you get Julianne, 61. Linda Law, 50-ish. I like that answer. Go Joe, just bought an old book, an introductory history to English education since 1800. Looks good. Yes. Lizzie Topper says, some days I'm older than Adam. Trish Bradley, 56. Dithian Ringo, I'm the oldest. Well, I could be lying. Actually, I might be 103. I mean, I think the Queen sets a great example, doesn't she? Isn't she lovely? 96, goodness me, Music Infinity, all people born when history was properly taught in schools. Well, yeah, Greener, hello. Hello, Greener. Jat, middle-aged, excellent. Diana, age depends on the day. Phyllis, 77. Do you know, I had a very weird experience with my mum in the caravan one day when I was 30, and I had a friend of mine, Lorraine, there, and I said to Lorraine, how old are you? And she said 50, and I said, my mum said, oh, I'm 70, so it was 30, 50, 70, and we were all in silence looking at each other, and I could tell my mum was thinking, I remember being 30 and 50, and Lorraine was looking at me thinking, I remember being 30, and that's what I've got to look forward to at 70. And I was looking at both of them thinking, what a pair of terrific ladies. I can't wait to get to 50 and 70. It was a really surreal moment. Lorraine, I'll do a whole video on Lorraine. She was cracked. She was absolutely fantastic. Her and old man used to hang out with people like Eric Clapton. I mean, they were big into all sorts of party or recreational drugs and stuff. And I've got a fabulous story about her and a sack of diamonds. Incredible story. I've told so many people that story over the years. We have, Diana, we have a group of girl aged 40, 50, 54, 64, 77. Yep. Maggie P, 8. That's like Harry and his mentality. Let's have a look. Kathy Underwood, 63. Fabulous. Greener, 45. Oh, baby. Edra, 53. Very good. I don't know about all you guys, but when I was a kid, people who are my age now, or round about our age, they all had grey hair and hair curlers. And I used to look at them and think, oh, they look ancient. And nowadays, people who are in their 50s, 60s and 70s, they look the same. They haven't sort of, gone to the wall. That was more in the 70s and 80s. Marcia, I love your stories. Oh, you'll love the one about the sack of diamonds. That's an incredible story. Maggie P, I'm 66 but feel like 36. Fantastic. My greys are just creeping in now. Yeah, I've had grey hair since I was 30. And I'll go blonde. It doesn't really suit me that much blonde, but I will go blonde. I got my first grey hair at 19. Yeah, it does happen. It does happen. I've seen lots of older people with bright pink or purple hair. Yeah, they used to have blue rinses, didn't they, in our day? But I think that was more of an accidental thing. I always got the impression they didn't purposefully do that. I don't know. But yeah, they all looked a lot older, didn't they, in the 70s and 80s when they got to a certain age. They just sort of went to seed. I don't think, perhaps we eat healthier these days or something, and or we're more aware of stuff, or maybe the hair dye industry is much better than it used to be. Marcia, Tom, I'm 6 in dog years, I think. Yeah. Oh, Caro guy, you didn't go grey until you were 60. Very good. Must have very, very good genes there. Infinity. In Liverpool, when I go to see my brother, I was amazed that they go around in curlers. Do they? Music? Really? Yeah, because I haven't seen that in years. My gran wouldn't have dreamt of going out in her curlers. She'd rather be shot dead. Hi, Gillian. My grandmother went all white at 25. Used a blue rinse and looked stunning. I know. I'd love it if my hair just went completely white. That would be fabulous. Really fabulous. Might put a bit of a blonde rinse over the top of it or something. But mine is very dark and then has grey. It's not even salt and pepper. It just looks awful. Just looks awful. My dad's hair is thicker and fuller than mine, curly too. Well, one of the things I like about getting older is my hair gets a bit thinner, because my hair has been the bane of my life. Well, I'm glad I've got hair, I thank God I've got hair, but it's been hard work. So, YouTuber Sumi has pink. Yes, I've seen that. She's a lovely lady, isn't she? Hannah Booth, do you remember plastic rain caps that old ladies wore? Yes. They're always that in pink. or pale blue, weren't they? Yeah. Yeah, I feel sorry for Harry. Yeah, well, I don't think you need to feel too sorry for Harry. Harry's got to grow a brain or a pair of cojones and sort himself out. PJ, my mum is 92 and only just turning grey. No way. Fantastic. Trisha Bradley, my friends always used to say we would look young because we were pickled from the inside out. Yeah. I'm definitely pickled. Hello, Christina Walker, 71. No, I don't feel that sorry for Harry Karma. I did, but it's getting less so. Linda Law, I know a hairdresser that still sells rain caps. Yeah, there were some awful inventions in the 70s, weren't there? That are probably best forgotten. I used to love that James May show, Supersizing Toys, and he went through all the 1970s toys. That was brilliant. The Lego house and the longest scale X-Trix track in the world. That was brilliant. It was to protect their perm. That's right, Hannah. Yes. Yes. And they used to leave the coverings on the settee suite, didn't they? The sofa, plastic coverings to keep it nice. Marcia Thomas, do you think Harry and Em will go down in history books as more them Edward VIII and Mrs. Simpson? No, I think Edward and Wallace will go down. No one's really packed it in about them. I think Harry and Meghan really will become a bit of a footnote because David was king. He was the king. Harry's sixth in line. He's like Andrew, and it just keeps moving to the side. No, because if you remember, there was Prince John, Queen Mary's youngest, who died very young. That's a shocking story, but a lot of people don't really think about Prince John. And I don't think many people will think about, unless something horrific happens. Let's say he grabs her by the throat just to shut her up, just to stop her talking, and goes too far and tops her, then yeah, that'll go down in history. But if they just live out their old age together, being Harry and Meghan, I don't think so. But Wallace and David, that was a big thing because of the abdication. Karma, Wallace was a lot more behaved than Meghan. Yes, I always thought the Duchess of Windsor was very, very, very elegant, ladylike. I love Wallace. And Bennett, imagine Archie and Lily writing books later on, like Mummy Dearest, maybe. Yes, like Mummy Dearest, perhaps. Edward will be remembered more. Dithian, his romance glossed over, his treason. Yes. Wallace had multiple affairs while still married. Yeah, she was big friends with Jimmy Donahue, wasn't she? Jimmy was he was cousins with Barbara Hutton, I think. He was Barbara's gay cousin, very charming, charismatic. And he and Wallace used to go out partying, I think, quite a lot. Music Infinity, he'll end up in a nursing home saying, I used to be a prince, you know. Yes, it's very interesting, that, Infinity, because where they live, the mansion is called Riven Rock, and it was owned by a family called the McCormacks, who invented something like the combine harvester and became very wealthy. And one of the heirs, he ended up living in a house at the bottom of the garden, and his mother was only allowed to watch him through binoculars. His wife Elizabeth said he was nuts, but I don't know if he was, or whether Elizabeth had just, kept him there or driven him nuts. There's a very weird story behind the house that Harry and Meghan chose to buy and live in. Karma, I'd choose love over the crown. Absolutely. It must be awful if you don't love someone, that you've got to live out your life with them. Lisa, Wallace was sophisticated. Meg is vapid and dim-witted. Yes, yeah, and always manages to look so terrible in her outfit. She's got a lot of money, nice, pretty face. It's almost like she's doing it to see how far she can go. Not today. I believe Archie and Lily are the big thing for Netflix special, and that's why they've used dolls, etc., to keep them hidden. I don't really understand the fascination with the children. Me, I've never really been interested in royal babies and royal children. But Meghan seems to think that that's like a golden ticket. to fame and fortune and money. And I find that really peculiar, because children are just, they're being children, aren't they? You never know what their full personalities are like until they start reaching sort of 7, 8, 9, 10. And then when they go into teenage, it's evolving. Meghan really seems to lean on the fact, I'm pregnant, I have a baby, all that sort of thing to get as much publicity as possible. And it's so bizarre. I mean, she sounds to me like a woman who thinks she's the only one who's ever given birth. Hasn't that been going on since Eve? If she has given birth, because I know a lot of people question that. I saw Neil Sean, I subbed to Neil, and I saw him today sort of talking about conspiracists, and he was a little bit like Tin Hat, laughing and saying, there's conspiracists who will think that Meghan had a microphone and stuff. What I would say about conspiracy theories is if the media didn't bloody lie to us all the time, there wouldn't be room for conspiracy theories. And I think that Meghan and Harry make a breeding ground for conspiracy theories. And that's very cruel for their children. Edra, has anyone thought about the fact the toxic duo might be using money they inherited from Diana and the Queen Mum to pay for Sunshine Sacks? Yeah, I'm sure that they've been using that money to pay. And it does create damage. When the money runs out, though, the power goes, doesn't it? That's where the power comes from. Linda, the children are her payday. Yeah, but I don't really understand why. I don't understand why people will look at kids and think, oh, they're cute. But that's sort of about the extent of it. I mean, it's not like anyone can sit down and interview Lily. She probably can't speak very much at the moment, so I don't know. Lisa, if she gave birth, she would have empathy. The Uvalde stunt would have been impossible. Yes. Danielle, yes, Wally has pointed that out. I forgot what I was saying that Wally had pointed out, Danielle. The perfume thing is to remind Harry that Princess Diana is still around. Yeah, Night Owl. Yeah, that's creepy, isn't it? Because it's a very specific brand of perfume. Hello, Darla P. Because the media make money from it. But not today. I don't know how they would make money from it. Can only surely be so much interest in children because they're not fully formed adults that can be interviewed or do things with their lives. So I've never really understood the fascination of it. Giselle, why would it be any different to the photos of the Baldwins or Will Smith's kids? I don't know. Do the Baldwins or the Smiths hide their children? I think the Smiths, their children are sort of on Instagram quite a bit, aren't they? But I don't know. I've never been a Baldwin fan, really. I mean, I know who he is, and he's part of a dynasty, and I know what's happened recently, obviously, but I'm not a particular Alec Baldwin fan. Linda Law, payday from the royals. Like, how can you leave your grandchildren without? Then she cuts corners and uses the money herself. Yes. Can you imagine them being parents? Poor kids. Well, it's when I was at private school, there were one or two school friends of mine that when I went round to play, they were quite isolated. They weren't really allowed to mix. I think the parents were scared of a kidnapping threat, that sort of thing, but they were lonely and they were a little weird, a little different because they weren't socialising. Their social skills weren't coming on. Carol Derbyshire, H&M are very strange. Yes, they are, Carol. Yes, they are. I often think Meghan would be better just opening her own YouTube channel. And then maybe it will all become clear. Maybe we'll all understand and go, oh, right, that's why you do that. And she could go live, couldn't she? And take questions. And if she was monetized, she'd probably make more money than Netflix. Can you imagine the chat? It'd be going crazy, wouldn't it? Not today. Narcissists don't have empathy. No, they don't. Graham and I and Sam and Ben, we've had two particularly horrible psychopathic narcissists in our lives, coming up to 13 years now. who I won't name because they're still in our lives. There's nothing we can do to get rid of them. They're not related to us, and we don't work with them, and we don't live near them. Further than that, I can't really explain in what way we've been. If we could escape them, that's my best advice. If you've got an arc in your life and you can change job, you can move house, or you can get away from them, then do it. But it's not always possible. Not today. I don't get the fascination of the kids that Meghan has. I only know how the media go about buying it. I know. That's what I mean, not today. It's like the media think that the audience is fascinated in the kids. If kids were so entertaining, wouldn't we all be watching CBBS and kids shows? I mean, I confess, I do still watch some kids shows, even though my kids don't. I like Gravity Falls and Adventure Time, because I think Adventure Time's just whacked out. But I don't watch things like the Teletubbies. I mean, wouldn't the Teletubbies be number one on Netflix if kids were so bloody fascinating? The baby's face in the sun. It seems to me only Meghan seems to think, well, I suppose she's their mother. She thinks they're fascinating. But Evelyn, yeah, it's horrible when you've got an arc in the family. That's the most difficult sort to get rid of. And they seem to be missing out on spending time with their children. I could not imagine leaving I know, and the birthday parties, like Archie's birthday, back of his head, little boy on his own, looking at a balloon, you know? I mean, but I remember, obviously, both my kids' first birthdays. They were pretty much non-events as the actual birthday boy or girl was concerned. When Sammy was one, she was oblivious. She didn't know it was her birthday. We had a cake and everything, and she just thought, you know, same as any other day. It's not until she was 2 and then 3 they begin to understand what a birthday is. Benji's first birthday was a big event for Sammy because Sammy was 2. She knew by then what a birthday was. So Ben's first birthday, all the home video we've got is of Sammy blowing his candles out, Sammy helping him open his presents. It was a big thing for the older sibling. So why is Meghan like cut Archie out of it? Archie wasn't even in the photographs of this supposed birthday party at Frogmore. Harry wasn't even in the pictures. Okay, maybe Harry's taking a picture. Oh no, he wasn't. I forgot. The professional famous photographer came to do that. Who does that? So yeah, I dread to think when Archie grows up, he will be resentful of that. Where are we up to? My mum and not today. My mum and my husband's mum are narcs. Oh dear, we don't have anything to do with them. No, karma. The media is corrupt. Well, I think the media is all at sea, karma. They don't really know what entertains us. They haven't got a clue. I think that it was probably accidental when they did the royal family and the crown. I don't think they thought it would be that big a success. I mean, who doesn't love Cinderella? I love Cinderella. I love fairy stories. I love looking up things, European palaces and stuff like that. Everybody loves that, the idea of the Prince Charming and stuff. But the media, they have a very distinct lack of imagination, don't they? They've even stared at misery on whether it was Lily in the photo. Yes, I know. But, and I know people say, oh, well, conspiracy theorists, but these people wouldn't be questioning who the children are. Are they Meghan's? Were they born of her body? People would not be asking those questions if she hadn't behaved in such an odd, peculiar way in the first place, if you know what I mean. Neil Sean annoyed me with his conspiracy comments. Sometimes I feel he's excusing their behaviour as others do. Yeah, I've got to say, I used to subscribe. Well, I've subscribed to Neil. When back in the days, I think he had less than 100 subscribers, and I was one of them. And bye music, work is calling. And then at a certain point, he just sort of changed from speaking the truth. I'm not saying he's lying, and I don't want to diss the guy because he's quite a sweetie, isn't he? He's a harmless guy, but he does seem to, like, he said a weird thing a few months ago. When Mark Boland, Prince Charles's buddy, there was some cash for title scandal, and Neil did a video sort of saying, oh, Prince Charles hardly knows Mark Boland. They sort of met at a cocktail party once, and I thought, what? Mark Boland. There'd been scandal after scandal after. He's been around for decades. Him and Charles, you couldn't get daylight between them. So I started to think, where are you coming from on that, Neil? And then he said he was at St Paul's when I did the boo. They did boo, and he said I was there and I didn't hear a single boo. And I thought, what? Well, I wasn't there, but I was watching Sky News Live, and it caught Kay Burley by surprise, and Andrew Morton, and Rhiannon Mills. They were all like, they couldn't deny there were boos. So I thought, what are you talking about, Neil? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, some of his things that he puts out are very interesting, but some of them I'm not quite sure where he's coming from. Vital 43, he did change. Nice guy, yes. But I think also Neil is slightly different as a YouTuber. I get the impression he's part of a production company, whereas most of us YouTubers, we're individuals. We don't have a set agenda. We're just there talking shit all day long. Whereas Neil gives me the impression they have a studio, a producer, a cameraman. He was talking about his microphone today. So perhaps it's not actually down to Neil, the take that's given on a particular. And I saw what Lady C thought of Neil. I did find that quite amusing. Because she is hugely entertaining, but I love Neil Sean as well. I've never unsubscribed to him. I wouldn't unsubscribe, whether I agree with him or not. If Neil didn't hear boos, why is it being reported that Meghan was disappointed in the booing? Well, he subsequently has admitted there were boos, but the very first video he put out after St Paul's, he said, I was there and I didn't hear any boos. Well, that's what I heard Neil say. And I thought, what? Maybe he didn't, because the bells were quite loud, or maybe he was standing in another part. Edra Welsh, Neil's sweet Caroline video saying the Queen listened to it on repeat offended my intelligence. Are you suggesting that Neil might big up our gracious Majesty the Queen? He obviously loves the Queen. Marcia, Neil doesn't seem quite right to me. I've never been able to put my finger on why. Well, Neil's old school, isn't he? He's an old school TV presenter, almost sort of a little bit panto. And I mean, I used to find him quite edgy and spiky, not so much. Honey Bee Bridge, Lord, you guys are young. I watched Noggin the Nog. That rings a vague bell. But you're right, it's very strange the way they're holding back the photos with the children. They're becoming more strange as time goes by. They are, and they will continue. I mean, if you remember Michael Jackson, he started off as such an adorable kid, fabulously good looking. And as he got older, he got better and better looking, talented, marvellous. And then he started to change. And I loved Michael. I loved him. I felt very sorry for him. And you see these celebrities, they do change and they become a little stranger and stranger. And I think Meghan started out strange, so it's not going to get much better for her. Min, sometimes I do wonder if he's a secret sugar, but it doesn't add up. Yeah, and I think he has noticed, I think Neil has noticed the criticism. I see his top comments where, have had hundreds of likes, where the person will say something like, what are you talking about, Neil? That doesn't make any sense. So I don't know, perhaps, I suppose if you're a struggling production company and someone comes along, some PR company offers you a ton of money, maybe they would take it and then give a different edge. I don't know. Carol Derbyshire, I watched Andy Pandy. I used to love Andy Pandy, but my dad would come up from the office and he'd turn it over for the news. It was always clashed with the news. Steve Slagan. Hello, Malaysia. Malaysia, wow. What's the weather like there? Darla P. Please, Fiona, please post this so I can watch the rest later. I'm off to physical therapy. Everyone have a wonderful day, afternoon, evening. I will, Darla. I think it will automatically go up, but I will try. Maggie says hello. Yeah, Andy Pandy. And I used to like Parsley the Lion and Camberwick Green. That was another one. And my big time favourite was Bagpuss. I loved Bagpuss. Lisa Sums. Without a pap of kids with nannies coming here and there. I really think there is a charade. It is strange, isn't it, the reports that said there were no children on the plane. Perhaps they sent them on a different plane, given the benefit of the doubt. It is strange. It is strange. Oh, Karogar, Sooty. I loved Sooty. And Itsy and Bitsy, the spiders. They were a big favourite of mine as well. Ragtag and Bobtail, I remember that, Dithian. Trish Bradley, Neil does the same with Boris, definitely no booing. I was like, wheat my Oprah moment. Yeah, what? Yes. I mean, there was booing for Boris and there was booing for the dastardly duo, definitely. If there hadn't been booing, and Neil was saying there was booing, I'd be saying, what are you talking about, Neil? I didn't hear any booing, but I did hear the booing. JB Brooks, good morning. Almost 8:20 here in Florida. Hello, Florida. We were talking about Florida the other night, and you have the Everglades there, don't you, and alligators and stuff. Min, by the way, Avid, the info about the secret camera footage in Ukraine on behalf of Harry Netflix is on Montecito Royale's channel. Right. I was furious when I heard it. If it was on Emma's channel, then I'm totally 100. You know, that girl checks her stuff out. She's very, very good. Mr. Ben, Marcia. Yes, actually, wasn't Mr. Ben the one with the bowler hat? Always reminded me a little bit of my dad. My dad was a bit stiff like that. Steve Engelson, what do you think of both kids having red hair? Yeah, I know. So where's the racism and how dark are their skin going to be? JB Brooks, I have dolphins in my backyard. Fabulous. Well, in Florida, yes. Because you guys, I think it was Florida that Rico Barry, didn't Rico Barry do the footage of Flipper? And he had them in his back garden. They were actually swimming up and down the river, and he had 5 or 6 dolphins that all played Flipper. And of course, Rico Barry these days is a tremendous hero to us in the dolphin industry, wild dolphin watching, because he gets arrested all the time. He's always breaking into dolphinariums and releasing dolphins into the wild. He's a big hero of ours. Lisa Sumshears always claims to miss the kids to escape the unbearable hatred. Yes, she does. Bex stuff. Hello, Bex. Maybe Neil does not want to offend his sources at the firm. Yes. I do get the feeling that Neil treads carefully. And obviously, anyone who's got sources, they've got to sort of throw a bit of a red herring here and there. Otherwise, everyone will figure out who it was. You know, he can't really go say something like, "Oh, Princess Michael said this, that, and the other to me the other day," can he? He's got to be discreet. I do like Neil, and I won't unsubscribe from him. But there is sometimes I just think, you and me, Neil, we couldn't disagree more. I just don't know where you're coming from. Pina Bruno Grieve, hello, Pamela Bradshaw. Honestly, it is awful, just disgusting. The Ems Uvalde trip. I worry where this is going to end. Well, she might go to Ukraine with Harry. And I saw Trevor explaining to people, don't just go to the Ukraine. You might as well. You're going to come back in a body bag. And he's right. People shouldn't really be going over there. And I just read somewhere that H&M are going to relinquish their titles due to the booing. Well, I mean, the booing has got to give them some pause for thought, hasn't it? I hope so. I really hope so. For the sake of the 2 little ones, if they exist. Honeybridge says, I feel Neil is older, like me. He needs to keep his job. Right, yes, I know what you mean. He quite often puts up clips of very famous people he's interviewed. I think he interviewed Jerry Lewis at one point. And media industry is a tough gig. And I think he's doing really well to have a YouTube channel. He's got 145,000 subscribers, so he's doing something right. I am a bit of a conspiracy theorist. And so when I hear people say, oh, conspiracy theorists, and sort of laughing at us, I think, well, no, it's just people have got questioning minds. And there's sometimes they go, are you sure about that? I'm not sure if that's right. Cara Smith, a crowbar wouldn't get those titles away from them. Well, unless Harry does it, then she won't have a lot of say in it, will she? She won't like that. Go Joe, lol. I can't see them relinquishing anything. No, again, she won't. She won't, but I could see him doing it. I could see. JB Brooks, you know the water horn Sandy used to call Flipper. I looked for one online. No such horn exists. Oh, okay. Is a horn like a bend in the river? And elk, yap. No way will Meghan ever give up the title willingly. No, not willingly. She will want to be buried with that title. Yes, yes. I mean, she's just gonna hate the fact that Catherine's gonna be the next Princess of Wales. I can see she's very jealous of Catherine. Very, very jealous. You catch up on some of these. Harry won't go to Ukraine. No, he probably won't. They'll stage something in the back garden and make out that it's Ukraine, won't they? That's what I think. Giselle M will be able to use princess at last. Yes, I reckon when she found out about the ducal title for the wedding gift, I bet she was like, what? I thought I was marrying a prince, not a duke. I can really see her totally not liking the Duchess thing. Graham says, give Meghan some fashion advice. I'm not sure anybody needs fashion advice from you, Graham. Graham was a groomzilla when we got married. We got married in 2006, even though we've been together for years. Graham wanted to get married, and he wanted me at the age of 36 to wear a Cinderella corset like Queen Charlotte with a big hooped skirt sticking out the sides and like a powdered wig and the curl. At the age of 36, I thought that was so undignified. He was a nightmare over it. He went on and on and on trying to choose and tell me what to wear for so long. In the end, I went shopping with my mum. I saw a green chiffon dress for a tenner and I went, that'll do. I don't want to hear another word about this wedding dress. And my mum had made me a black velvet wedding coat. So it was the wedding coat, which was A-lined. I couldn't have fitted a crinoline underneath it anyway, Graham. Nobody needs your fashion sense. Really, the world is better off without you advising women. If anything, I'd say Meghan's got a hotline to Graham and he's already giving her fashion advice. I mean, the red Carolina Herrera and Givenchy and what's this latest one? She's just Christian Dior. They should sue her. They should sue her. I thought the idea of designers putting their clothes on someone famous was to get other people to go, wow, that looks great, and buy it. Carolina Herrera's reputation must be in the toilet ever since that red prom dress thing with the huge scoop and the way it wouldn't fit properly. I loved it from the waist down. I loved her red shoes. But from the waist up, it was just, for me, it was a disaster. I don't know what she was thinking, and I don't think Carolina Herrera allowed her to do that. I think she went into a shop and just grabbed the dress off the rack. Maggie says they will have to pry titles from her cold, dead hands. I'm sure she's already bought a group. Yeah, it'd be like something out of that. What was that film called where the hand comes up out of the grave? I can't remember. Meghan will not die. The Duchess of Sussex will. Yes. Lisa Sums, Catherine, everything she covets, the side eye could kill. Yeah. She's so jealous of poor Catherine. Not today. Do you think Meghalaya does these hateful things on purpose for attention, JB Brooks? Yeah, probably. Or just can't help herself. I don't know. Pina Bruno Grieve. Your husband has better fashion sense than MM. I'm not sure about that. Maybe. What? Are you there, Graham? Yeah. Because I need to go to the loo. You can sit in with me. You've got. They're only deluding you into thinking you've got fashion sense. You haven't at all, and don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. There, you can sit here. I'm going to the loo. You can give them all fashion advice. Tell them what you think of Meghan's outfits.
Meghan's outfit was horrible, absolutely horrible. Did you see the massive? It's always a mistake putting collars on a dress. Okay, women do not look good in a dress with collars. There's very, very few you can carry it off. Right, you can with some, but no, I'm sorry. So you could trip over them if they're any bigger. I mean, I've never seen collars that big since they hung all the Nazis at Nuremberg. Terrible. No, I would have picked. You know, the royal family. You expect the royal family to come dressed in something nice, not an old raincoat that Columbo could have worn. You know what I mean? No, it's terrible. And the price of it, that was about. Someone told me on the internet. They assured me it was $160,000, and I thought, I didn't pay that much for my house. And then people are starving in the UK. They're wandering around the supermarkets looking at food banks and things, and someone's blowing 160 grand on a dress that isn't even nice. No, sorry. You want the royal family to look smart, to look good, but you don't want them to look horrible, do you? Like some frigid on thing that you should have got from a charity shop. You know, you shouldn't have paid more than a tenner for that. Honestly. Anyway, that's my. I'm into corset dramas, you know, all the corsets and the big skirt. I like all that. I'd say from about 1720 to about 1920, there was a lot of stuff that was really good in there, in that era. You know, there's a lot of rubbish as well, but there's loads of rubbish today as well. You know, so it's a particular interesting. I liked Harlots. Did anyone ever watch Harlots on the? I can't read the comments. You ever watch Harlots, the costume drama? Spot on. I was into that. Outlander, that sort of thing. You know, very good. I mean, you look at the court of the French king. What was he called? The one who had his head cut off. Well, they were all Philippe, weren't they? Yeah. And if it was good enough for the court of Versailles, it should be good enough for St Paul's Bleeding Cathedral, shouldn't it? Eh? You know, they knew how to dress in those days. They were all switched on, and they spent money wisely, not irresponsibly. 160 grand on a raincoat. I don't know. She's taking a long time on the loo, isn't she? Let's read some of these comments. Hi, Graham. Yeah, Maggot should ask me for fashion advice. Yeah, I call her Morticia Markle. She could dye half her hair white, couldn't she, and the other half black, and dress like one of the Salem witches in black. That'd be. She'd look better than she did at St Paul's anyway. Which isn't difficult, is it? Got to go back to work, and see you later, Columbo. Yeah, Columbo. Megan's dress coat was rubbish. Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people said they were wired. Maybe they were, maybe they weren't, because they couldn't have the film crew follow them into the cathedral, could they? So they had to get something for them, and they got nothing. And now Graham with fashion advice for the ladies. Well, thing is, ladies, like, I can give fashion advice based on my opinion as a male, because when I look at women, men always look at women. I don't care what your husband says, right? They do. They look at women. They don't touch, obviously. That's bad, but they're always looking, and they see what appeals and what doesn't. Frigidity does not appeal. Okay, and that's what Meghan was wearing, the most frigid, horrible thing. But it wasn't the worst dress. There was another woman there in pink, which was, actually, I'd say it was more awful than Meghan's dress. But the worst, my nomination for the worst dressed woman in St Paul's on that day was Priti Patel. I think she's the Home Secretary. And what she wore, I won't even describe it. It was just horrible. Ghastly. Anyway, go back to the... NM's desperate to copy Diana. Yeah, Marcia Toms. Why not auction off her clothes? Well, yeah, I mean, Diana, I'm a big Diana fan, but she wore some horrible clothes, I have to admit, you know, back in the day. Especially at first. Once she got rid of Charles, I mean, she seemed to pick up, because she's obviously thinking for herself, but in the early days, she wore some horrible outfits. You know, you wouldn't be buried in them, would you?
Was Princess Diana not even
there was
spared your...
I'll give you... She's back.
Criticism.
Get rid of it. Get rid of this idiot who knows nothing.
Honest to goodness. I'm amazed the fashion houses of Paris aren't screaming for you, Graham. They're not, are they? And we all know it.
It's good enough for the Palace of Versailles.
And he's always picking on Priti Patel. I mean, politics aside, I think Priti Patel, it's a very apt name. She's got a very pretty face, whatever Graham says. Right, let me catch up here. Honeybridge, I think is just copying or trying to keep copying Diana's because she truly doesn't know how to dress. And she can't take No, she can't take criticism, honey, not at all. She's got very thin skin for somebody who wants to go into politics. My mother was a politician, and she was only a county councillor. My God. She's a loony if she thinks she can do politics. I suppose she thinks she can force everybody and have people thrown off social media and stuff like that. Lizzie Topper, I thought M was wearing a Frigidaire. What's a Frigidaire? I'm always not that sophisticated. Maggie P, how about Oprah in that pink chiffon confection? Oh, what, at the wedding? I think that was Oprah's second choice. I think she spilled a glass of red wine down her first choice. I'm sure I read that somewhere. Pamela Bradshaw, I love your glasses. What, these ones or my €1? These were a bit more expensive because they're reading glasses, but all my sunglasses are €1. I've got about 3 pairs because I lose them. And it's essential down here to have sunglasses. I'd be blind if I didn't. In fact, one of my bosses, not Tim, it's Mrs. She's a bit weird. She's always into these newfangled ideas, and she went through a phase of staring at the sun. They gave that up quite quickly, as you can imagine. Carol Derbyshire, she will be called Princess Henry. Well, technically, yes. Technically, she is Princess Henry of Wales, but she won't call herself that. She'll call herself Princess Meghan, Princess of Hearts, or something like that. Edra Welsh, thanks. This was fun. Got to go. Oh, see you later, Edra. Yes, I think at the 2 hour, which is in 15 minutes, I shall probably wrap this up. It's been tremendous fun. Lizzie Topper, it's a brand of fridge. Right, okay, that explains that. Graham fashion sense is marvellous. No wonder you dress so glamorous. He has no say in what I wear. If I wore what Graham wants me to wear, I'd look like Bo Peep, and he'd expect me to go round Aldi and Lidl shopping like that with a crook and a bonnet and everything. I'm not joking. Dithian, Teddy has his legs crossed here. Got to go Whizbox. Enjoyed the chat. See you later, Dithian. JB Brooks, why is that Howie an administrator of the Aspen Institute? Well, the Aspen Institute, I don't really like the sound of that at all. I think that's where a lot of this, let's get YouTubers taken down, let's get Twitter users taken down. I think that's where a lot of that's come from. It's just so dictatorial, isn't it? And it is kidding yourself. And when someone criticizes you, it hurts, of course. But you've got to sit back and analyse it a bit and think, well, was that fair criticism or unfair? And give yourself a bit of time to think, is there any truth in it? Especially if it's overwhelming. Isn't that what their comms team is supposed to do? Bloody hell. Lisa's so glad we got you live. Such a treat here in the USA. I'm never up this early at 5:46 a.m. here. Oh, my word, Lisa. Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming to join us. Oh, go on, let him dress you sometimes. And we will. I used to let Graham dress me, and then I drew a line in the end. I thought, no, it just got too humiliating, far too humiliating. Britty has large hips. She does. She gets thicker as she goes further down, but there's no denying she's got a very pretty face, and I love her hair. Gorgeous hair. I mean, that's aside from her politics and stuff. Not today. What time is it there? It's 2:45 in the afternoon here. Oh, I'll have to shut the door because I can hear myself, Graham. Only like a few seconds behind. That's awful. It's like when you have a phone call to America and you can hear everything that you're talking over yourself. Well, in the olden days, they used to have that.
Yeah, you get about 5 seconds delay.
Yeah.
That's going all the way to the living room.
Oh, okay.
So it's not an Australia thing.
Okay.
No.
Well, not really, because it just gets so hot in this room, and I haven't got any windows open. Carmen and Miranda both feet. Yeah, seriously, he would. He would. Yes, maybe I could have one open.
You would what?
Window. Yeah. Lisa Sums, will they ever go away? No, because Megan wants to be famous. One of the first YouTubers I ever used to watch was Shalon Lester. Has anybody here ever heard of Shalon Lester or watched a Shalon Lester video? She calls her followers Shaloners or something like that. I don't subscribe to her, and I haven't watched Shalon in years, but she did a very good analytical video when they first left the royal family and they were in Canada. And Shalon basically said, if they move to, I don't know, Arizona or the middle of nowhere or the middle of Canada or Africa, then I'm totally for them. They want a private life. But she said, if they go to New York or Hollywood, I'm calling BS on this whole thing. This is basically Meghan just wants to be an actress. And I think Shalon called it pretty well. And that was about 2-3 years ago. JB Brooks, yes. And Min have heard of her. Maggie says, woohoo ghost. Is there? You ever seen one of those YouTube videos where there's something weird happens in the background? Henry Sue was the wife looked best when she was dressing like Michelle Obama. I quite like Meghan's white suit at the Invictus. I know a lot of people didn't, but I quite liked that. She did come across as a sort of a Californian girl, but a lot of her outfits are real. What was she wearing, that thing at the cathedral? She looked like Inspector Clouseau or Inspector Gadget or something. What on earth was that all about? Imogen. Hello, Imogen. Hey, Fiona. It's your fellow Brightonian here. I started the live talking about you and the fact you went to Brighton and Hove High and everything that you'd said in the comment. And you really have. You've answered such a lot for me. And, you know, both my sisters went to St Mary's Hall as well. My eldest sister was a school teacher. She loves learning. And the schools wrote her off and said she was thick. My parents had to go in and really fight them over that one. And my other sister, she failed all her A-levels. And not only that, all her class failed all their A-levels. And she ended up going to Basvick College. So St Mary's Hall didn't do either of my sisters really any favours. But they tried a lot harder, I think, than me. And I think they found academia easier than I did. I just didn't know what the bloody hell they were talking about. And also the first year I was at St Mary's Hall, we had there was a fantastic headmistress, Mrs Leslie, marvellous chemistry teacher, a lovely school chaplain. There was a whole host of staff, and Mrs Leslie retired after the first year I was at the school and was replaced by a woman who looked like a ghost. You know, she wore a big long cape and went woo around the school corridors. Miss Harvey, nice lady, just couldn't run a piss up in a brewery. And then we got a load of bad teachers. So I think that's when St Mary's Hall started to get a bad reputation after Mrs Leslie packed it in. Anyway, that was sort of sidetracking. But yes, hello, Imogen. I'm so glad you're here. 8:46 there. So where are you, Imogen? You're not right now, are you? Marcia Tom, she needs to move where the best acting school is then. Well, yeah, I mean, if I was advising Meghan, I'd say, why don't you move to the middle of nowhere and have like a camp for kids, drama camp? And Harry could be with the nature and the kids. You know, I think that would be much better for them than being in Tinseltown or anywhere near any of that. Maggie, I live at Kentucky Lake, so I'm central. Do you remember? You remember Miss Harvey? I've got a big punishment. Did we go to school together, actually, Imogen? A big punishment for me was to be made to sit next to Miss Harvey at lunch. And I really quite liked her. She was very shy. And I remember she ate an apple with a knife and fork, which was quite difficult. So I'd sit there watching her do that. She was actually quite a sweet lady, but very, very shy. And she got engaged eventually. I think she was about 75 when she got engaged to a bishop who was completely stone deaf and wheelchair bound. So I don't think she had an easy life. Honeybridge, don't you feel Meghan had this whole plan set up? after watching Fergie and making money on US talk shows? I'm not sure, honey. I think Meghan thought she'd go in the palace and boss everyone around. And she used Harry and manipulated him. And I think he's hot-headed and he just flicked out and said, right, that's it, we're off. And I bet Meghan was like, what? What? Do what now? You know, I didn't marry you because I love you. I married you because you're a prince and we live in a palace. You want to do what? So I think Harry would live in a mud hut. I don't think he'd care. So I'm not sure. I think she wanted to merchandise but stay in the palace. I don't think she wanted to leave. She probably saw the gift shop at the Tower of London. My God, the prices they charge for things in there. Millie, sorry you have to go back to work. Great to chat with you. Good to have you here, Millie. I'm sorry to interrupt your work. We have another. So Nasty Meg. Well, yeah, her own father said she was very controlling, didn't he? Ages ago. Let's have a go, Joe. Relived. The rest of the world has got some kind of insight into H and his wife. Thought they were going to get away with everything. Well, yeah, with members of the royal family, you never know what they're like at the beginning, and over the years, a personality develops. So we might not get an accurate picture of what they're like, but you get a rough idea. And I think we've all got a pretty good idea of Meghan. We could all be doing her a great disservice, and she might be absolutely lovely, but I doubt it. Elk, they really banged on the half in, half out plan. Yes, that's what I mean. She wanted to stay in the palace. And I hear the latest is they're hankering for an invitation to Balmoral. I thought she hated Balmoral. She's been invited 3 times in a row and said, no, I'm too busy. Archie's too young to travel, but we're going to take him to Elton John and all that. And now they want an invitation. I mean, how transparent is that? I think it's Netflix that want an invitation to Balmoral, isn't it? It's not Meghan, it's Netflix. I hope Netflix wake up, I really do. Maggie P, Mr. Markle said she controlled all the men in her life. Yeah, and women, I reckon. Oh, you're in Canada, Imogen. You're in Canada, right? Excellent. I used to live in Canada. I was banished, actually, by my parents. I was sent to live with a cousin in Alberta, Peace River, for 6 months. That's another story. Right, I've got 5 minutes to go. Has Beck's stuff, she wanted to be the best of 2 worlds, yeah. And Gina D, that denim short set at the polo was the perfect outfit for having a yard sale. Yeah, it was really, really weird that the way that the shorts legs sort of stuck out so much made her legs look like little tiny sticks. Yeah, maybe she hasn't got any mirrors in her house. Maybe they're all cracked or something. I don't know. So yes, any last minute questions? Anything anybody's would like to ask? Not that I know anything. I know fuck all about fuck all, really. But while we're talking shit, chicken legs. And that was my nickname. My sisters used to call me chicken legs when I was little. Pamela Bradshaw. Meghan will never get to wear a crown. Exactly. No, she won't. And I can't understand. She wanted to wear a tiara, didn't she? But she wore the big diamond earrings that had a dodgy connection on some tour. Why didn't she, if she wanted a tiara, have some diamond hair clips? You know, that would have been nice. JB Brooks, mine too. It's about 10:30 p.m. in Australia, is it, Lizzie? Yeah, that's why I think sort of the mornings here are the best time for Australians, aren't they? It works out quite well. Me and Droppy quite often chatting at that time of day or the other end. They really seem desperate at the moment. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to give some advice to Meghan and Harry, I'd say sell the mansion, sell up, buy a nature reserve or buy a piece of land in the middle of nowhere and build your own log cabin. Design it yourselves and have a project. Bring the children up, get some forest cams, film nature, just get yourselves out of it completely and then come back after a couple of years and sell that to Netflix. and I think that would be fabulous. But they won't do that because she wants fame and fortune now. She doesn't want to work for it. She's a straight shortcut to being famous. Lizzie Topper, time for me to exit as well, and to everyone else. It has been absolutely fabulous. I've really, really enjoyed doing this live, and I've managed to actually do it. I was ordering groceries this morning and missed the beginning of the stream, but I'm gonna, hopefully, if I don't mess it up, I'll upload the whole thing, and then Neil Sean can go through it with a fine-tooth comb and sue my ass. No, I love Neil. If you see this, I love you. I really do love you. I love all the YouTubers, actually. I don't think there's a single one that I don't like. And you know, I never dislike people's videos. If I'm not into what they're saying, I just go to the next video. There is only one YouTube video that I have disliked, and that was Megan reading out her story of the bench. And I've never seen a video with so many dislikes, and I was one of them. So there you go. Japan FN, hello from Japan. Oh, Ruth Ann and Doris Wellner, Pepper 405, hello. Fiona, is Avid your nickname? No, my nickname is the cat, literally, Pussycat. My dad used to call me Pussycat. Then one of my Thomas the car thief, he thought it was hilarious, so he started calling me it. And then the police found out, and when I was arrested and put in the cells, they have a whiteboard to say who's in which cell. And Sergeant Fellingham at Hove Police Station, if you're out there, remember me, Sergeant Fellingham, he used to put Pussycat on the board. And then all the lawyers and the judges and then eventually the press, everybody called me Pussycat. So Cat is my nickname. Rose Coughlin, nice to see you live. I had it on, but I haven't been able to watch. I'll catch it later. Ontario. Just saw an ad with in it. Oh my God, it was terrible. Was it the burger flipping thing? Trish Bradley's off, I think. Marcia Toms. It's been fabulous. And now I know how to do it. Next time, I will give you all proper notice and probably do it at a similar time, because that makes it a bit easier, or maybe start it at 3, judging by the times that Buttercat pause. Hello. I think that might 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, might work out for everybody. Okay, so thank you for joining me. It's been fabulous. Have a fabulous day, everybody. And I guess I'll see you in the comments on one video or another. Take care.